Okay, everybody, this is Kevin and Wendell, and we are going to go over your first assignment for digital architectural rendering, which is a garden. We just blew a bubble, which is a garden workshop edition or a photo studio edition. So for this project, you'll have the choice to do a completely new project, which is this garden workshop thing, or you can use your project from the end of fall semester last year, which was the photo studio. Um, for those of you who are in this class and haven't had that project, you'll of course do the garden workshop. But if I were you and you're happy with your photo studio and you'd like to work on that again, I would use that one as your project because you can make all kinds of cool imagery from it, and and we can put that in a portfolio. So it'd be a good way to sort of expand on that one, and maybe even do parts of it over if you want to, because you'll be much faster at it this go around, I guarantee you. So the first chunk of this semester, we're sort of um, boosting all of our modeling skills. We're learning new techniques, and we're extracting information from those models to create beautiful imagery. So we are rendering per se, but we're not making photorealistic renders for this first third. The middle third, we're kind of get halfway there, and then the last third, we go all the way to a more photorealistic rendering. Um, so for this portion, we're just primarily working with the tool of SketchUp. We're going to be working with Photoshop, and we're going to be working with InDesign. So those three programs. So by now, hopefully, you have all your technology in order, and remember, you have the labs to use that you can access remotely, or you can, of course, install everything on your computer, but that, of course, comes with a cost. So for the first project, Garden Workshop Edition or Photo Studio Edition. So I'm just going to sort of read through this, and then I'm going to go through the Garden Workshop model for you, starter model for you. Now, remember, if you choose the Photo Studio model or Photo Studio option, you're going to be using your model that you started with. So it's up to you which one you want to use. Okay. For this assignment, you'll be asked to design a small addition to an existing project and meticulously model it in SketchUp. From there, we'll export various images from your project and combine and edit them in Photoshop and InDesign. You can either use/start with the model that's attached, which I'll send you a link for, or you can use your Photo Studio project that you designed toward the end of fall semester last year. Now, below here is the list of the requirements for each one, depending on which one you choose. So for the garden workshop, a local botanist and garden enthusiast has asked you to design an addition to her existing garden workshop. Due to lack of space, the client would like to add to the existing workshop as well as develop the surrounding outdoor area. Attached to this assignment is the existing designs SketchUp model, which we'll go through, and here's the link for that. So you can click on that link and that should take you right to Garden Workshop. Okay, so if you go this route, her requirements are a new structure to house house a rare and tropical plant collection. The new structure must have at least 3 raised garden beds. Like the existing structure, these planter beds must be able to you must be able to walk all the way around them, and they must have access to as much natural light as possible. In addition, she would like at least 3 raised garden beds for a vegetable garden located outside the structure, and these beds can be smaller than was located in the existing structure, but they also must have space to walk around. She would like an outdoor work/patio staging area. This space could be adjacent to the existing structure or the new structure, or between them, something like that. It also needs a connection to the current workshop. This could be an outdoor walkway or an actual physical connection. So I've got a building here and a building here. Is there like a little covered hallway that sort of connects the two, or how are these two buildings connected? Do they actually just butt up against each other? It's one thing to think about. And the new structure must work with the style and look and feel of the current workshop. I'd say within reason. If you'd like to take it to a new direction, that's fine too. Now, if you are going to use your photo studio option, first thing I'll say is just delete the context around it. Okay. So that means your three-sided sort of structure that you designed will have sort of a blank side. You could use that side now. You can use any side to add this addition. We'll be adding site and context as we move through the project. So for this one, you're asked to create a new indoor photo studio space. I'll say this can be of whatever size you'd like. A new outdoor photo studio space. And this space should be contained on at least three sides for privacy and backdrops. So it shouldn't just be like a slab, open slab, do whatever you want here. It should say, hey, you could position some people or objects that you're taking pictures of in front of this wall, in front of that wall, in front of this wall, whatever the case may be. Some extra storage space, whatever shape or form that may be. The new addition must work with your existing photo lab. Again, that's loose. Take that in whatever direction you like. And then, like I said here, for the purposes of this assignment, you can delete and ignore the site. We'll add to that later. Okay, so here's a little sort of list of the project timeline. So this week we've kind of gone through the syllabus and I'm introducing the project right now. Next week, the videos that I'm going to upload are going to be all about modeling in SketchUp, which some of you are pretty good at already, but I'll send you links. I'll send you different tips, groups, components, things like that, how best to set up a good camera view, all things that you should be considering as you're designing this edition. For the week after that, we'll talk about site and how do you geolocate your project and add a amorphous sort of landscape into your models. And then the week after that, we're going to export imagery from your models and combine them in Photoshop. So that's where we'll spend some time in Photoshop. The week after that, we'll spend some time in InDesign. And then the project will be due and you'll submit sort of a packet of information to me. So that's the timeline. That's where we're headed. This week, I just sort of want to get these two options in your head. You have to decide if you're going to do the garden workshop or if you're going to do the photo studio. And if you are going to do the photo studio, get that model, get it saved into a new location and get ready to work on it and sort of play around in it. The assignments, requirements, and goals, I'll let you read that. Some tips. You're essentially asked to design a small addition to either the garden workshop or the photo studio. Do not overthink this. The thing I want to just keep in mind here is I want you to not spend time sort of spinning your wheels over the design. I want you to sort of just get something that looks pretty good and roll with it so that we can actually do the technical part of exporting imagery and making a nice image. Of course, I want you to design the heck out of it, but I don't want you to spin your wheels too much. Okay, if you get stuck, you let me know, and I'll know if you get stuck. Look to the existing structure for modeling tips and techniques that will definitely help you, and try to model as clean and as precise as you can, and as detailed as you can. What we want to get is as much information into these models as possible. And I'll go over a lot of that next week on things to consider to make your images really shine. Okay, and then here's some checkpoints. So next week, I'm going to ask you to share some screenshots with me on chat just so I can see where you're at. And I'll do that pretty much every week, just as some progress shots. I'll probably chime in and be like, hey, how you doing? Can you send me something to see where you're at? and then we could talk about it if you'd like to. We can set up meetings if you'd like to. Totally up to you. And then after that, final images are due. Okay, so that's the assignment. And now let's go over the SketchUp model of the garden workshop. So I have that open here. So this is what I'm basically giving you. It's a white model with like no textures whatsoever on it, no material information except these plants in here. Okay, I got these plants off the 3D warehouse, and I'll tell you about that next week. But you can go ahead and navigate around this model. And in SketchUp 2020, they got rid of layers and they call them tags now. So that's, maybe they did that last semester. Last year, I can't remember. But so pretty simple structure, a simple gable structure. Got some solid walls on the end with a sort of glassy insert in between. I've got 3 planter beds in there. Let's see if I have any scenes saved in here. No scenes are saved. But everything is white model. We're going to kind of move our way in here. Got some trusses there. Here are the planter beds. I can walk all the way around them. Looks like I have garage doors at either end, which I think I have some. There we go. I have some furniture in here to show you. Okay, so this is the existing garden workshop. Now, if I go through these tags here, I'm going to turn off the exterior walls first. So that I'm just hitting these little eyeballs here. The exterior walls are being turned off. Floors being turned off. All you can see is that line on the edge there. Frames are all the window frames. So there they go. Furniture right there. That kind of table in front. Garage doors, I'll turn those off. Glass, turn those off. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see what's going on. Was my floor still on? Oh, there we go. Floor. Let's see what else we got here. Planters, plants, roof, skylights, structure beams, structure columns, structure truss, and then all these little side walls there. So I just broke these up into different tags for you to turn on and off and just sort of play with. Turn them all back on. Okay, but that's essentially the model. Okay, so just to give you an idea of how you might want to get started. So in my tags here, I have 3 different concepts, concept 1, concept 2, or concept 3. So here are 3 different ways where I could add on to this model. And I'm just sort of playing at this point. I'm just going to throw some clay on the table and mold it around. So first thing I'm going to do is concept 1, turn that on. Okay, so here we have a sort of U-shaped structure, some sort of connection in between, and this is where a cool courtyard could happen. This is where my outdoor area could happen. So this could be one option, and this is just a model. I haven't detailed it out. I haven't done anything to it. It doesn't look like this yet, but at least gives me an idea of like, yeah, I could do something like that. Okay, turn that one off. Concept 2 might be a similar one, but a Z-shaped, because this is kind of interesting because it makes a space out here, makes a space over here. So there's almost 2 different courtyards in this case with another connection in between. Okay, so there's another idea I could do. Concept 3 is a little different altogether, which makes a courtyard space, makes an actual physical connection on this end, like a tube that you could walk through. Maybe a workshop here with a shed roof that opens up to this side, unlike the gable roof over here. A couple overhangs here and here where you could walk under, or maybe there's some kind of entry over here. And then, of course, this giant tower of some kind. Don't even know what it is. Maybe it's a cool thing I walk through and I can look up and see light coming through. Or maybe this is some sort of like lantern that lights up the entry here, so that from far away I could see, that's where the garden is in the distance, and I'm going to go look at it, something like that. So just wanted to include those in the model, which you will see if you download and go with the garden workshop. But if you're doing the photo studio project, I would say this is a great way to start. Just mock up a couple ideas like, oh, I could do something over here. I could do something on this end of the building. I could do something around this end of the building. Right now, they're all on here, but I think that's a good start. So why don't you take some time, maybe this week / weekend, to sort of choose which model you're going to go through and use, and then mock up some ideas on where an addition could go, but make sure that addition has all the requirements, uh, the spatial requirements that either the garden workshop person is asking for or your photo studio. Okay, I hope this gets you excited. I hope you just think in your head, "Oh, I got some cool ideas on where I want to take this," and sort of just start having fun with it. Get back into SketchUp and just play around. Next week we'll go over all kinds of modeling techniques, tips, and tricks, and how to kind of get things going. All right, guys, I'll be posting this shortly.